Hello everyone, this is Plastique, and today we're going to be doing doll makeup using affordable products. So what is doll makeup, you ask? Doll makeup essentially is the makeup that will make you feel the most. I think everyone's drag makeup starts from following trends and then you kind of find your groove and what you like. I think my makeup changed from, just putting on a mask into kind of enhancing what I naturally have, because Plastique has honestly helped me through so much in my life. But the biggest thing is that she has really helped me to gain confidence in myself in and out of drag. So this is the makeup that I usually wear now. And this is the makeup that makes me feel the most confident. And I'm so excited today because I went to Ulta and I picked up all affordable products for you guys, and I paid for all these products with my own money. So I'm so excited to show you guys what we got. I know how hard it is firsthand when starting out your drag career because, essentially when you first start out, you're only doing drag for tips. It's very hard to get a serious paid booking when you first started out, but as drag queens, we do drag for the love of drag rather than for the money. If you are starting out in drag and you want to know which product worked best, here it is. First, I'm covering my eyebrows with the good old Elmer's glue stick. You've seen me do this before, and I do about 3 coats of this. We brush it up like this using my fingers and then using a blow dryer on low or cool. We're gonna blow dry it away. I'm gonna do that 3 more times and I'll be right back. And don't forget to glue down your hairline because afterwards when you put on the wig, it's gonna be nice and flat. I'm gonna set everything using the Airspun Coty powder in Naturally Neutral. I thought I had picked up translucent extra coverage because that's what I normally use, but I guess I grabbed it too fast. This powder used to have me in a chokehold. This was the only powder that I used, I think 3 years into doing drag, and because it was so cheap and so good. And I think that Bianca still uses it to this day. And then I grab a sponge and then just setting that and kind of really press it in so then it stays locked down underneath all the makeup. And covering eyebrows was always the hardest part for me when I started doing drag, but as you keep doing it, you just get better and better and faster. I just have very, very crazy eyebrows and I refuse to shave them. Well, that's set. I'm going to color correct. I picked up the Milani Conceal and Perfect Under Eye Brightener in 04, and we're gonna use this to color correct our mustache area right here. And I like this formula because it's very thin. You don't want something so thick underneath your foundation or else it's gonna rub off. So the thinner the formula for this step, the better. Tapping that in. And for foundation, I like to use the Kryolan TV Pink Stick. That is the #1 drag foundation on the market, and I believe it's not too expensive either. I believe it's like under $40. All these products here today are under $30, so if you want to splurge a little more, then the Kryolan TV Pink Stick is the best stick foundation there is. I picked up the Black Opal stick foundation in Warm Almond, and I'm going to use that around my hairline. This shade is a bit darker than my skin tone. I'm just going to use that to contour, basically. I think they started making lighter shades, so if you're of a darker complexion, this is perfect for you. Black Opal also make brighter shades, however, I could not find them today, but I have the Kryolan TV Paint Stick in NB1, so I'm going to use that for the middle of my face. But if you can find the lighter shades, those are bomb. And you want something very high coverage, at least just on the eyebrows, because you're trying to hide them basically. And I do more around this area as well. And I go all over the color corrected area. And the stick foundation is very, very good because it deposits a lot of product. To blend everything in, I picked up the About Face, the Performer foundation in M3 Peach. The most important thing about foundation is finding the right undertone for you. I am of a peach undertone, so it's a little harder for me to find foundation at the drugstore because everything is either very yellow or very red, and I am peach, so I'm somewhere in between. But someone at Ulta actually pointed me out to this brand, and they have a very wide variety of peach tone foundation, which is absolutely amazing. Oh, it's an open thing. No way! Oh my god, this is perfect. So I will go in the area that I do. where we did not put foundation. Somewhere around here, here, on the nose. Wow, this is perfect. This foundation, you don't have to go too full coverage either because we laid on a lot of layers underneath. For blending, I like to blend out the light parts of the face first, and then you can go into the contour part after, since you want the light areas to remain highlighted. I love using a liquid foundation over a cream because, you know, creams are very pigmented and the liquid foundation kind of just goes in the creases and the cracks and fill them up and make your face look very, very poreless and seamless. So after I blend out all the highlight part already, then I go into the contour part, starting with the jaw right here. I think for a good bit of like 2-3 years into my drag career, I was just yellow. Like my face was yellow and my body was red and peach because I did not realize that I was a peach undertone, you know? So it was very, very hard. Now sometimes I look back at like clips of me doing performances, I was like, ooh, she did not know. That is so pigmented. The black opal foundation is very pigmented, so that's an amazing sign. But if you are trying to contour with it, go a little light-handed if possible, because I'm doing a whole arm exercise over here trying to blend out this contour. All right, there we go. Next up is concealer, and I picked up the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer in number 22, and we're gonna use this right under the eyes where you want to draw a triangle like this. And I like that this concealer has a huge doe foot applicator, which is gonna deposit a lot of product on there. We're gonna go right here, chin, around the mouth, tiny bit on the forehead. And I'm going to blend chin first and then leave the under eyes for last because we want the under eye to be as bright as possible. And for the under eye, I like to go on the edges first. You don't want to just start blending at the under eye because then it's gonna move all the products. You want to start at the edges so then you can diffuse the product first at the edges first and then still keep the lightness underneath. So yeah, blending the edges first, carrying it, and then I'm gonna carry it all the way to my eyelids. And you want your eyelids to be pretty bright so then the shadows show up a little bit better as well. And then after you blend out all the edges, that's when you go into the main part of the concealer right underneath here. And you kind of just want to tap it lightly just so then the brightness remains where you want it to be. And this concealer is everything. It is so beautiful. Definitely a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills concealer as well. This shade is beautiful. Whatever is left on my beauty sponge, I like to take it in the middle of my nose and then just kind of give it a little highlight. I don't do the full contour and highlight on my nose. I usually just do it with powder afterwards. And then to set everything, I like to use the Miss Airspun once again. Starting from underneath the eyes, we'll load up that puff and then just go right under there because you don't want that to go anywhere. For drag makeup, you want to load up the powder as much as possible, at least in this step, so then your makeup will not slip and slide when you're, you know, at the gig. And if you have a deeper complexion, Morphe actually makes amazing colored setting powder. If you set it on darker skin, it might become a little ashy, but we can correct it after. Oh my god, it's in my eye. Ugh! Oh! And this is why it's called because you're gonna beat the face. You just spend so much time blending, you do not want it to move. I'll probably finish by this jar by the end of this tutorial, so. Okay, I think that's enough for now. Just kidding. I like to put a little bit of extra powder right underneath my eyes right here, just so then we can move on to foundation. And the worst thing, you finish with your eyeshadows and there's a bunch of fallout and it's stuck onto the concealer. You don't want that. That's why we're doing an extra bit of powder underneath. So then afterwards, you can just sweep it away. For eyeshadows, I actually picked up the Juvia's Place Coffee Shop because you guys, look at how pretty this palette is. This is like a total dupe for the Natasha Denona Supernatural palette. You know, the palette that I always use that I depotted, like the colors are exactly the same. And the other palette I picked up was the Morphe 35 Youth palette. I love this palette because it has so many neutral shades and they're both warm, cool. There's some shimmers in there and they have like a really bright shade too. And so then you can use this for eyeshadows, brows, under eye powder if you wanted to. And I'm a huge fan of multitasking product. What am I gonna use today? They're both very, very, very pretty. So starting out, I'm gonna do this medium tone brown right here. And we're gonna go right into the crease. I mostly focus it on the outer corner and then bring it slightly up because you want to basically lift and contour the eye. Then dip into the fluffier brush. I'm gonna dip into this shade right here, which is a lighter brown, and then we're gonna blend out the edges. So starting right above and going up. Ooh, that's very impressed. Wow. The way it's blending out is so nice, very pretty. And then I'm gonna use kind of like a taper, more dense brush, kind of like this, and dipping it into the darker brown shade here. And I'm gonna create a V on the outer corner of the eye. And this is gonna really, really define and yank up our eye. I used to do a lot of graphic work on my makeup, like carving out the eyeliner, making sure it's super sharp, and carving out my crease and stuff like that. But then I realized I can pretty much do the same thing with just placing shadows where I want it to be. Using the other brush, I kind of just blend out the edges. That way, it gives us a very nice yank, you know, without me having to reconceal or anything. So I'm doing the same thing to this eye, dark brown, then going into this V shape in the outer corner, connecting it slightly to the crease. Using the first brush that we used to the medium shade, I'm gonna blend out the edges of that shadow we just put down. And that should give us a very, very smoky, winged out look. Kind of like that. Ooh, I'm excited, I'm excited. Afterwards, I just like to do the same thing to the bottom lash line. So using dense brush like this, I go in with the first shade that we used again and kind of follow our lash line all the way to the inner corner. Make sure to keep it really tight. And then using a denser brush like this, and we're gonna go into that last dark brown shade that we used just at the outer edge of the eye, and then connect it to the top eyeshadow. So then kind of gives the eye that effect. I'm gonna do the other eye and I'll be right back. Now I'm going to go into the Morphe palette. Now that we have a base, we can go either darker, warmer, cooler, or lighter. I like to do like a very mid-tone shade. Something kind of like Full Flash or Serious Shined will be very, very nice. For sparkly shades, I like to use my fingers and then just tap it onto the eyelid like so. And it's gonna give you the most impact. And then that just blends it out so fiercely. I'm going to go into the center with a little bit of Naked Ambition and then just tap it. Oh yeah, inner third of the eye, right there. Just so now everything is blended so fiercely. For eyeliner, I picked up the Maybelline Hyper Easy eyeliner in Pitch Brown. I love using a brown eyeliner because it is so much easier than using a black eyeliner. Way more forgiving, and then you can darken it with a black eyeshadow afterward. And my eyeliner technique is I would go very thin at the inner corner and then slowly go thicker to the outer corner like so. But I do not create a wing. So I would stop at the outer corner right here. And then the trick is to use the same little dense brush that we used before. The same dense brush like this. And we're gonna dip it into the darkest brown shade right above here. And this is how you get the most foolproof way of defining your eyes without drawing a huge wing or anything like that. And I'm just gonna tap it onto the outer V right here. Not blending, just tapping. And still focusing on the angle that I want. Just tap a little bit more. And then using a smaller brush like this, just kind of blend out the edges. And that's how you get a yanked define liner without having to do much work. And if you want to define it even further, grab a little brush like so. Grab a little small pencil brush, and I'm gonna use the darkest black shade on here and just lining the outer edge of the eye. I'm not creating a wing or anything, just darkening that outer edge. And you see how that just... Now moving on to eyebrows, I'm gonna use the same Morphe palette and dipping into the cooler shades, kind of like one of these. It has like a greenish undertone, which is very, very good for emulating eyebrow hairs. And I like to use kind of like a not too dense flat brush like this because we don't want to disrupt any glue or foundation underneath where we cover our eyebrows, because that's a very, very fragile area. And my one tip for drawing on eyebrows would just be try to get them as even as you can using this rough sketch first. So I like to draw kind of like just a line first and try to get them kind of in the same position on both sides, kind of like so. And then once you have that going on, you can then draw the tail after. And everyone's eyebrows is different. Mine used to go all the way up here. My brows are always, one is always higher than the other. So I try my best to kind of just, it kind of helps sometimes when you look down like this. So then you can really see which one needs to go a little higher and which one needs to go a little lower. Then I like to dip into a lighter shade like this and kind of fade in the front part to make it more realistic. You know, you don't want a whole block here. So dip in the lighter shade and then just go right at the front. Soften everything up. Yay! And now you can get a good old concealer brush and then going back in with the lighter stick foundation and then just carve out the shape that you want. And if you ever feel like your brows are lifting, do not be scared to go back with the powder puff and the powder and then just go over it at the front, because then this will lock it down a little bit more and then make your brows look a little bit more natural as well. All right, now we're gonna go into the face and we're gonna sweep all that powder we put underneath the eyes away along with all the fallout shadows. I picked up the NYX Cosmetics Highlight and Contour Palette. Highlighting and contouring is probably one of the most transformative thing you can do for a face. I think I want to use these two shades right here for contouring. One is a little warmer to warm up the complexion and one's a little cooler just to give it a contour. And we're gonna go into the cooler one right here. And from the sideburn, just right at this area, but stop where the eye is. We'll go a little bit up here as well, and then a little bit on the jawline. Then using the fluffier side, I'm gonna go into the warmer shades, the lighter shades right here, and then just diffuse everything. And that's how we get very nice and defined cheeks without too many lines happening. We want it to all look uniform. So again, I think when I started out doing makeup, I would leave kind of this area and then just cut the cheeks up here. But I prefer like a more like heart-shaped face. So I like to cut the jaw and then kind of carry it up like this a little bit. So then this contours it a little bit more. So then it feminizes the face so much more than if you were to just leave this all the way up here. So I like to carry the bronziness all the way under. And for the nose, I don't do too much. I kind of just go under like so. And then we can do the precision after. Oh, now we're gonna highlight. Before I go in with the highlighter, I love to use a powder foundation as highlighter underneath the eyes and everywhere in the face, because I find that if you just use a highlighting product, sometimes the product doesn't have enough coverage and it'll leave the area very powdery, and then you just have to put more and more in just to get that highlight back. So using a powder foundation pretty much eliminate this step and make your highlight look way softer. So I like to go with the bigger brush like this. Oh, this is the Juvia's Place powder foundation in Valencia. And I like to use a bigger brush like this and then go over the highlighted area. So at this area right here, right underneath the brow bone, at this area, and then right around the mouth. And you see the difference that this side rather than this side, it just softens everything, and when you get close up, it just gives you a very like nicely highlighted area. And when you get close up, it makes your makeup look so smooth rather than powdery. So you see how this side looks way more airbrushed than this side. Power of the powder foundation, truly. And sometimes if you go way too hard on your contour, just carrying it over to the nose contour will make a huge difference as well. Going back into the NYX highlight contour shade, I like to use a smaller brush like this and dip it into the lightest shade, and then just going at the tear trough area. And that will make a huge difference because just going at this area will lift up the face so much. Do y'all remember like when Kim Kardashian did the under eye highlight and it pretty much changed the world? Like it was the big bang of makeup. And everyone in the world was shook, you know? Under eye highlight has never been the same. You know, the old drag trick, the more highlighted and lifted your under eye is, the more feminine your face looks. So I never leave the house without that step. And if you want to be really hateful, you can go back into Morphe palette and go into the light shade here, and then dip it into this one and go right here. You can just use it everywhere, and look at how sickening that looks. And just go right here. You can use, that's why eyeshadows can be used as face powders can be used as bronzer. I also will dip this back in here and re-highlight my nose. I don't like to contour my nose too much because I like to use the foundation shade we laid down before as the contour. So then it looks, because in the middle of your face, the darkest color should be around here, and in the middle of your face should be just highlights and your natural mid-tone colors. I just go down the center of my nose, a little bit of at the tip, blend her out, and boom. So beautiful. Now on to the cheeks. Cheeks and highlight. Oh my gosh, I had to bust this out. This is the Kimchi Chic x Plastique Tiara makeup palette collaboration that we did. This is the blush, highlight, and bronzer palette that we had, and honestly, I have like I think a whole box of this because I love this so much. This is the perfect pink blush. This is the perfect coral blush, a pinky tone highlight, and a golden highlight over here. I am so proud of this palette that we did. I think we launched this 2 years ago now. I just had to bust it out because it's still one of my favorite affordable blush and highlight palette ever. And the fact that I made this with Kimberly Chi Latte, the makeup mogul of the world, is everything to me. Love you, Kim. Let's do a bigger brush. So I like to use a bigger brush like this and then go into my side, the pinky side, and then just go right here. It's very pigmented, so girl, so pretty. Ding, 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 ding. I love doing this. Ding, 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 ding. It's like the perfect like baby pink blush. It's Sabrina Carpenter vibes. And then I'm gonna dip into this highlight right here and go on top of it and fit. Wow, wow, wow. I kept this for a reason. So good. Yeah, she is going with me on the road. So if y'all see my cheeks and you wanna know what it is this. That's the secret right there. So beautiful. I'm gonna go back into it and with my little finger and then highlight my inner corner. Like that. And this step is literally a must-have for any makeup routine that I do. You know, if you're a girl who wears like no makeup or, you know, doesn't do much every day, highlighting your inner corners would make the world of a difference to your face. And when I was doing makeup, I would do that for everyone. Now we're moving on to lips, and I'm using, this is one of my favorite lip liner shades, and it's from Morphe, and it's called Sweet Tea. This is like that perfect nude, dark brown shade that just fits every skin tone. It's like the perfect contouring lip color for anyone. And I like to overline my top lip, but just in the middle and connecting it to my natural lip color on the sides. So then we're kind of creating that like Brax doll lip, because the shorter distance that you have between here and your upper lip, the more feminine your face looks, in my opinion. Overlining the top like so, and then going down here. The bottom lip, I like to overline in the middle as well, and then we're gonna go to the side. The bottom lip, you can actually go overline on the outside as well if you want your lips to be extra big, because since the top lip is going like this, it makes the whole picture like more believable. And I kind of just faded in a little bit with the liner to kind of contour it already. And then afterwards, if you see anything that you don't like, you can always correct with concealer. And I always go back around this area, brighten a little bit. And now we're finishing off with the NYX Cosmetic Butter Gloss in Sugar High. And it's just that perfect nude color, universally beautiful. And it's so thin, like it's not super sticky. And the formula is so comfortable. You can layer as much as you want. It's not gonna crack. Let me do some mascara from L'Oreal. This is the Voluminous Carbon Black Waterproof Mascara. I've always used this ever since I was doing makeup at my house for prom, and when I started doing drag. Like, I've always used this mascara. It's always the best, and I've cried, watered, yada yada yada, and it's never failed me. Now I'm going to put on my contacts and lashes, and I'll be right back. Ta-da! Get into the doll, get into the doll. Now I'm gonna show you how I put on my wiggy. First, we're gonna put on our wig cap. You can get this kind of tape on Amazon. It is called vinyl tape. It's used for boats and leaks and cracks and trucks. Yeah, you can use, this is a very multi-purpose tape. I use it for everything. I'm gonna take one strip, go right here. Today I am wearing a little ponytail wig, but I'm not performing, so I'm not gonna tape all around. And when you're wearing a ponytail wig, please make sure that if you're taping your head, move your cap up here. So then when you tape your head and when you put the ponytail wig over, your cap and tape doesn't show. And for the sides, I use this piece. And then we're gonna take one more piece right over here, and then we're gonna tape it on this side and then connect it to the back with the other side. And don't go too forward either, because this tape is shiny, so sometimes when your lace is pulled back too much, sometimes it can leak through the lace, and then you turn and it creates like this shine in the light. I've done it before, so just be aware. And my go-to tape for securing my wigs are toupee tape or extension tape. This is made for when you're trying to install like a toupee. You want it to last a very long time. This is what you do. This is what they use underneath. So I just cut 2 pieces and attach it to the sides of my face, like so. And this will act as an anchor for our wigs to stay on our head, rather than having to depend on the glue at the front. It's gonna hold it here first, and then the got-to-be glue will just make it nice and tight, rather than having so much weight on the got-to-be. You know what I mean? And like so. And having this tape, if your lace is not customizable, you can like adjust it so that it sits very nice on your face, and then got-to-be, so then you won't have the lace like buckling and, you know, all those weird ridges or anything like that. I've done it before as well. Today I am wearing Miss Little Pony right here. So it's just like a hat. You just kind of just plop her on and then hope for the best. And we as gay people get to choose our hairlines. Please choose it carefully. And then I just kind of lift. So you see how, since I don't have any tape today, like sometimes see like my cap still kind of show through, and then just push her up, girl. And this lace is actually customized for me, so it lays very nicely, but it took me a very long time to get here. So I understand the struggle of laying down a wig, but there are ways around it. So if you'd like me to make a video on that, just let me know. Once she is secured, I like to melt down the lace using Got To Be. And I start from the middle and I just sprayed it directly on the lace. Do not touch, just dry. And then same thing on this side. And that is how I secure my wig down. Let me go change and I'll be right back. Welcome to the Dollege. Do you like my sweater? I'm so obsessed with this sweater. It is so cute, and it's actually super soft on the inside. It's probably one of my favorite merch items we've ever made. It's gonna be available at Dragcon, and there's one other item that will be available at Dragcon. I don't know what it's gonna be. Maybe you just have to guess. So I cannot wait to see you guys at Dragcon. And my booth is 6:30, so come by and experience the Dollege. I hope this makeup tutorial was informative for y'all. I had so much fun doing this look, and I actually might switch out some of these products for the ones I'm using now because they're so good. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you next time. Mwah! Bye!